What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Kevin's Jiu-Jitsu video, weekly Jiu-Jitsu content. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking and subscribing and all that stuff. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you do that. In today's video, I'm going to break down or go over my thoughts on Jiu-Jitsu lineages and if they really mean anything these days. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kevin. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, and I am the owner and head instructor of Ivy Jiu-Jitsu here in Middle Tennessee. Ivy Jiu-Jitsu on my t-shirt. So let's get into this video. Hopefully it's a short one. I'm not going to ramble too much, but I could go on a tangent. Lineages. First off, what do they mean? Because I know some of you may have just started Jiu-Jitsu, and since you were in your first class, your phone was listening and heard Jiu-Jitsu said over and over again, or some moves, and now your phone's probably flooding you with Jiu-Jitsu stuff, and you probably came across this video, which is great. That means the algorithm's working. The lineage is basically your tree of Jiu-Jitsu, your family tree of Jiu-Jitsu, where you come from in this weird martial art that we do. So basically, if I were to train somebody, bring them up all the way up to black belt, they get a black belt, they go open a gym, they train people, and one of their guys gets a black belt, opens a gym and all this stuff. You know, like people would say that's the lineage from me to them. Or you look at one of the greatest, like Hickson. A lot of people love to name drop that name because he's arguably the greatest in Jiu-Jitsu. People will say they train under Hickson Gracie because that's their lineage. Now, what do I think about it? Same thing I think about belt systems, and I've said it in a previous video. The belt means something to the individual wearing it. But in the realm of Jiu-Jitsu, in this weird, maybe simulation we're living in, does it really mean anything? No, it's just the belt you wear in your class. It's what you got because you spent time and you trained hard. Would I say to somebody that their blue belt doesn't mean anything? No. It means something to them, right? And it's good. And I have a little bit, like anybody who's willing to spend time to do this kind of thing, I respect it. I'm glad. I don't care. And I would never say, well, you're not a blue belt because you can't do this, or you're not a purple belt because you can't do that. You know, I don't care. I don't give a shit. If that person's proud about their belt, awesome, right? Good for them. Same way I look at lineages. Do I care about lineages? No. But am I going to dog somebody who's proud of theirs? No, not at all. I'm going to be like, dude, that's awesome, man. The only problem I have is when people try to brag about it, and it's usually not. It's usually the casuals. It's like the person that did jiu-jitsu back in the day for like 2 months, and then they stopped, and then they came back, or they're wanting to come back, and like, yeah, I don't know, man, because I trained before. I trained at this gym, and I trained under Hickson, and you're like, what? And then you really look into it. It's like you went to a gym with your friend who was already a member there, and you went to a seminar that Hickson was there, a part of. You didn't train under him. Like, you know, like that's not, it's when that's that kind of stuff where people are like, well, technically I trained under so-and-so because that's who his professor is. Like, no, you didn't train under them. You trained under the purple belt that was running this sub gym out of this gym that guy trained at this guy's gym who trained under Hickson. Like, it's not, that's what I have the problem with. When people try to use it as if it's like, impactful in a way, or they should be recognized more that they are because they train under a certain somebody. It's like, I don't care, dude. I really don't. What can you do on the mat, right? Can we get on the mat and can I roll with you and see, like, can we share each other's game styles, right? That's all that matters at the end of the day. So that's where I stand on it. Again, it's great. If you're proud about your lineage, that's freaking awesome. When people ask me about my lineage, it's very vague, or very basic, not vague, but very basic. I say I train under Justin Roller in Franklin. That's where I started training jiu-jitsu at. Him and his twin brother bought the gym. They own it now, and I still train under him. That's him and his twin brother Chris are who I've pretty much learned the most of jiu-jitsu about under, right? So that's my lineage. Do I go above that? No. And I don't think they would really talk about that either, right? I trained under them. I've learned a lot from them. The most stuff I've probably learned from is trial and error on the mat, especially now that I'm teaching and coaching. Like, I've learned so much in the past couple of years. It's crazy because I'm reading more books. I'm talking to people who do this as a profession, especially now I got the social media presence, this small social media presence. I'm learning more about jiu-jitsu from all this stuff than anybody else. Like, I'm doing it on my own, which I'm not trying to brag about. I think everybody, that's how they learn. They're just afraid to admit it, and they're afraid that people are going to like shoot them down and be like, well, that's not how you train jiu-jitsu. Like, no, it is. Like, we're living in this age where I can find everything you need to find on freaking YouTube. I can learn how to do a barabolo on YouTube, okay? Does it matter if I can't do it on the mat? Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to translate everything onto the mat, right? And that's the best way to do it. See something you want to do, like, all right, let me try to put it together, understand it, all that stuff. So that goes into different coaching, teaching, learning tangent. But yeah, so lineage is just, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how you roll on the mat, man. How are you on the mat? How are you as a person? Because there's some people, you know, especially in the area, there's some people that have promoted a lot of black belts. And like, you hear these things about these gyms in the area, and you're like, if that was me, I'd be like, hey, dude, we're no longer affiliated, man. I heard the stuff coming out of this gym. I can't be associated with that, you know? So it's like, be careful, you know, be careful what lineage you're part of, what affiliation, all that stuff, okay? I'd rather keep it small and tight knit. I'm not going to branch myself out and put my name under some random people, okay? And I wouldn't want people under me to do that either, but you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So lineages mean something to you if you want them to mean something to you. Should you seek out a gym that's got this crazy lineage? No, because more than likely you're going to go to that gym and be like, cool, man, this gym has lineages, traces all the way back up to Helio Gracie. And then the person running the class that you're part of is a purple belt. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's great. I'm sure they can teach you a lot of cool shit, but it's like, you're not going to be training under that person. So don't think that's what you're going to get when you do that, okay? Just a forewarning. So I look at it a lot like, I'm a nerd. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is a good example, right? If you look at some of the best in Star Wars, Yoda. Yoda's a phenomenal Jedi Master. He's probably arguably one of the best, right? Who did he have as a Padawan? One of the most notorious, because there's a big story behind it, Count Dooku. Count Dooku did what? He left the Jedi Order and he went and joined the dark side. He was Darth Sidious' apprentice, right? It's like, what the fuck? And then Count Dooku trained Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's arguably one of the greatest because he's just so one with the Force. So it's so different. The lineage is, that's that lineage, right? Qui-Gon's like, I trained under Count Dooku, trained under Yoda. And then people are like, Yoda, you're fucking dude, Dooku's to the dark side, man. He's killing Jedi. What the fuck? You know? So it's like, he's the best, but he also has that kind of thing on him, right? It's just that's little nerd stuff with Star Wars. But lineages mean something if you want them to mean something to you. You shouldn't harp on it, and you shouldn't be searching out gyms or seeking out gyms that have this crazy lineage thinking you're going to train directly under that person. It's not going to happen, okay? If you have any other comments or you disagree or what your lineage is, whatever you want to leave it in the comments, go ahead. And again, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next video. I might do another one this week, but I'm pretty busy. I got something coming up tomorrow, dojo storm type thing, cross-training with my professor and stuff. They're coming. So I might do a video on that. That might be the next video, like a vlog of training with my professor, getting some footage of me rolling and stuff like that. So that might be the next one. Stay tuned. Thanks.